Hi, my name's Steven, and this is Rittenhouse Needlepoint. Welcome. I had a little brain fart there for a second. Trying to remember, where am I from? Huh. Rittenhouse Needlepoint, that's where I'm from. Okay, here to talk about Flair today from Rainbow Gallery. I have a funny story about Flair, actually. Now, we are filming today while the store is open, so you can hear lots of ambient noise, so just, go with the flow. All right, people? Flair. So I have this funny story. So when we first opened the shop, I didn't really know, a whole lot. And we had a very experienced stitcher come in, and she asked if we carried Flair. And I said, Flair? I'm not familiar with that. And she looked at me as if I had three heads, and said in a very condescending voice, "You don't have Flair." And I felt about 3 inches tall. Okay, so I will never forget that experience, and I will never forget Flair for the rest of my life. So that's my Flair story. Flair is a 100% nylon thread. Okay, it is tubular. Okay, that's unusual. A tube of nylon netting. Nylon netting, like pantyhose, except extremely small. 10 yards on a card, 101 colors, made, a little bit strangely, in England. Okay? I don't know why I think that's strange, but, I think it's a little odd. One strand of Flair is equivalent to one strand of pearl cotton number 5. Intended for use on 13 and 14 mesh and long stitches on 18 mesh. All right, so this is a good choice for 13, 14 mesh stitchers. Wahoo! Because there's not a lot of specialty threads for 13, 14 mesh people. It is a very useful thread for backgrounds, night sky, water, fields, mountains, snow. I don't know about mountains, actually. I have that in my notes, but now that I'm thinking about it, mountains and fields, I'm not feeling that today, to be honest with you. And when I was reading my notes, I was like, why? I keep saying night sky and water. Can't I come up with some other things that these threads are good for? So I thought to myself, what is Flair good for? And what popped into my head was wet rocks, and glazed donuts. So I guess I'm a little hungry. Anyhow, Flair has a glimmery sort of wet look to it. So wherever you are desirous of a wet look, think Flair. Like, I use it a lot for flames. Now I know that's not wet, but it is kind of shimmery, which Flair also gives that look. And the nice thing about Flair is that it doesn't overpower the other threads that you're using. It doesn't scream its presence. I have a note here on my notes. I have a note on my notes that says, remember to lay Flair. Use your laying tool. A couple of other tips. Use your laying tool, cut it at a sharp diagonal in order to reduce the amount of fraying. Some people recommend using fray check. I never understood that, to be honest with you, because if you use fray check, you end up with this glob at the end of your thread, which then becomes problematic in terms of pulling it through the canvas. Like, how are you going to pull this glob of glue through the canvas? I mean, it just stops, doesn't it? I mean, I guess I'm putting on too much fray track, but it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyhow, you could use clear nail polish. Again, same problem as far as I'm concerned, but another tip, come straight up and go straight down through the canvas. I think I said use a larger needle than you would normally use, but maybe I didn't. So use a larger needle than you would normally use when you're dealing with Flair. You don't want to drag the Flair across the surface of the canvas because that will cause it to catch and pull. And in order to keep the nylon netting pristine, you want to keep it from pulling like pantyhose. So keep it away from the surface of the canvas. It takes practice. This is, I'm going to be honest. It takes some practice working with this thread. It's not the easiest thread to work with because it's kind of stretchy and, it snags and blah, blah, blah. But it's worth it. It is worth it. If only because you don't want someone to say, you don't use Flair. You've never heard of Flair. So, please, I beg you. You don't want that experience. Flair from Rainbow Gallery. Good thread. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook and visit us anytime at myneedlepoint.com. This is Stephen signing off.